Hello and welcome to the backwoods of hard choices. No, you parked in the right place. This is still the podcast where we rank the fuckability of fictional characters from across a given universe in an attempt to find the zenith, median, and nadir of fuckability. That chill in the air means it's October. And for those among us of a certain sporting persuasion, that means one thing: cryptid season. What's a cryptid? It's a creature whose existence is disputed, thought to be probably just a bear with mange, or maybe a goat someone just saw from the wrong angle. We know different, though. Not much out here, especially on a dark night like this. But there's rumors, and for some of us, that's enough. Everyone else scoffs at the idea of creatures who go bump in the night. We didn't drive out to this unmarked location for just a bump, though. We came for the grind. The message boards light up with a new sighting of something strange, something unheard of, something monstrous. Well, you end up with one kind of monster hunter, and then you end up with another type entirely. Blur chasers. The people who see a smeared cryptid shape captured on film and are instantly alive to the feeling of those claws, those teeth, those snouts, those glowing eyes noticing us. Fuck being noticed across a crowded ballroom. We want to be noticed across a desolate moonlit night, pinned by a look that not only sees you despite your ghillie suit, but also a look dripping with the suggestion that this creature knows exactly the sort of filthy things that can only be done in a ghillie suit. And with me to feel the touch of the unknown across their skin are three people that always leave their tent unzipped a little, just in case someone wants to make a nighttime visit. Kit Mulkerin, Kit of Garden Plots with Skeletor. Who would you say is your most local cryptid?
Ooh, the most local one. Is it the Fresno Nightcrawler, maybe?
I think that one's the closest.
Or is it the Dark Watchers?
I was going to say Bill Murray, but...
Yep, that's it.
All right, James D'Amato of the One Shot Network and the Campaign Podcast. Who is your local cryptid?
Hello, heroes. Boy, this is difficult. It's tempting to also claim Bill Murray. I do know that we are rumored to occasionally get visits from Mothman, and we've got will-o'-the-wisps out in woods surrounding us. But, there are probably local cryptids within the city itself that I am less familiar with.
Man, you got to get on those message boards. Got to go see GeoCities if that's still around. I don't think it's a thing anymore.
That's what cryptids use.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. New guest to the show, Sarah, one of my most cherished authors on AO3 and the scribe behind David Attenborough is in My Bedroom, the fanfic where Loki is a pygmy ice giant from Jotunheim and is being treated as a protected species and then yells at Thor for destroying his IKEA bookcase. It's fucking great.
Oh my God.
All right. It's a very special fanfic and I love it. 693 words. Go read it.
Oh, thanks.
Who is the cryptid you have always thought of as your local, Sarah?
Well, living in Los Angeles, we already discussed it as the Fresno Nightwalker, but back from southern New Mexico, I would say probably the most local is the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chups.
That's definitely.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I've always thought of as my hometown boy.
Little Chuppy.
Little Chuppy.
If you're close.
Yeah, exactly. If you're friends on Facebook. So the world is full of fuckable, vaguely described eyewitness accounts, but we simply couldn't fuck all of them. I mean, we could, but the Hard Choices medical advisor threatened to quit if we tried. So let's give those skipped over monsters a nod in our segment, Honorable Mentions.
All right, starting us off is the Wendigo, firmly off limits, belonging to the Algonquin people. We had to give it a shout out because of its significance in pop culture, but that's about it. Please go learn about indigenous culture on your own time, preferably from an indigenous person.
Yeah.
The jackalope, whether a wily mischief maker of modern lore or a nightmare-inducing victim of Shope's papillomavirus, the jackalope is pretty much a rabbit with a rabbit's cognition. We only want to fuck monsters who are capable of being completely aware of and on board with our depravity.
The Pope Lick monster. Listen, we do agree. Promising name. Licking a pope. Yes, please. All that delicious transgression and institutionalized guilt? Yum. But Pope Lick is somehow even more bafflingly a place, and the monster, part man, part goat, part sheep, is named after the creek whose bridge he hides under. Now I know. MeganBob, you're saying. Goat man under a bridge? How could you leave such a morsel discarded in the honorable mentions? And listeners, I know. But this goat man is not the GOAT, unfortunately. And the legends just did not offer enough of a boner to vie for space among this crowded field of throbbing tumescence that is sexy cryptids.
Number 4, squonk. The squonk is the only cryptid I know named by onomatopoeia. It's exactly what it sounds like. Its legends emerging out of early 20th century mining towns in Pennsylvania describe a creature with too much skin and warts that dissolves into tears over how ugly it is. It's wet, it's pathetic, but probably more animal than potential partner.
God, what a fun name.
Number 5, Sinkhole Sam. Another animal cryptid. This one is described as worm-like, or a large snake, and lives in part of Kansas's Inman Lake known as the Sinkhole. According to Cryptid Wiki, this part of the lake is also known as the Spoopengurkel, though there's no solid explanation of what that might have meant, and I think that's just beautiful.
Number 6, the Van Meter Visitor. Basically an insectoid pterodon that fires lasers out of its head. So, a Digimon. Not as well known as the other cryptids, though. Sorry, bud.
Number 7, the Encantado. It's a were-dolphin, and originally appears in indigenous mythology, which is why it wasn't included on this list. But it's one that I needed to shout out because when they transform into human form, they still have blowholes on the top of their heads. And they conceal those with fedoras. Yep. This is the most fuckboy cryptid that ever could possibly exist, and I suspect every article about the Encantado was written by an actual Encantado. They caution people away from people who have random fedoras on their heads because you are at risk of being whisked away to a magical wonderland of endless pleasure, which definitely sounds like somebody who's talking up their own game.
Nothing to see here.
And yet I'm so like, but maybe though, like I saw the art of them and I was like, whoa.
Look, I believe Encantado are real, and I believe they are writing propaganda for their own existence to get more victims. That is what I believe.
But do you think the hype's real though?
No, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real. I think they're talking themselves up. I think they kidnap people and have probably underwhelming sex with them.
Bummer.
That sounds like a dolphin.
Yeah, it's a dolphin.
Everyone knows
It's a
dolphins.
pink dolphin. It's those pink dolphin.
Yeah,
you're right.
Dolphins are pretty skeezy, just as a species.
And these dolphins wear fedoras. I can't emphasize that enough, folks.
So skeezy they can't even hang out with regular dolphins.
And now the list that, per our medical advisor, we are **** allowed to fuck, which is good enough for us. Number 1, Bigfoot. An ape-like being living unseen in the wild beyond civilization. We're lumping Sasquatch, Yeti, and all other hairy, reclusive humanoids into this category. Every culture has its own, looks like a man, lives like a bear creature. But with cryptids as with humans, if you fucked any of those dudes, you pretty much get it.
Number 2, Mothman. Do you like mystery? Then the dark wings, glowing red eyes, and third feature not found of Mothman are for you. Don't like mystery? Then may I recommend Tumblr Mothman, whose lore has been elaborated down to the level of what he orders at an Indian restaurant.
Number 3, Nessie, or any other lake monster, which we're roughly defining as a creature with a fun name that lives in an implausibly small body of water. Chessie, lake monster. Ogopogo, lake monster. Vampire squid, scary name. It lives in the ocean. It's just a boring real-life squid.
Number 4, Chupacabra, a scaly, canid bloodsucker that's been sighted exsanguinating livestock in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the southwest United States. It's sometimes known in English as the Mexican goat sucker, which sounds like a horrid monster or an even worse candy, if you're a coward.
Number 5, the Jersey Devil. Lurking in the Pine Barrens of South Jersey, the Jersey Devil is described by Wikipedia as a kangaroo-like or wyvern-like monster with horns, tiny hands, bat wings, cloven hooves, a pointed tail, and a head like a horse, goat, or camel. You know, like a kangaroo or wyvern.
Number 6, Ningen, an aquatic cryptid allegedly sighted near Antarctica by Japanese whale researchers. It's said to be a cross between a human and a whale, a Rorschach of a description that each of us can interpret based on whether we, personally, would rather fuck a real weird human or an unusually attainable whale.
Number 7, the Dover Demon. A small humanoid with a large head, glowing eyes, and no other facial features, spotted repeatedly over 2 days in Dover, Massachusetts in 1977. And never again. The creature was said to crawl along the ground with its tendril-like fingers spread, so maybe it only stopped on our plane of reality because it's lost its contacts.
Number 8, the Fresno Nightcrawler, or Nightwalker, depending on who you ask. A refreshingly original cryptid that wanders Fresno, California, resembling nothing so much as a nice white pair of pants. But they'd look even nicer on my bedroom floor. Harr.
Number 9, Loveland Frogman. Smooth frog-like humanoids reported in Loveland, Ohio. Once, one was spotted holding aloft some kind of sparking wand. But you don't need to worry about that. No offense, but you're going to have to fuck a lot more frogmans before you can pull a wizard.
Oh, truer words.
Number 10, the Slide Rock Bolter. An advanced monster fuck, a limbless, huge mod creature in the Colorado mountains. Suspending itself on a slope with its hooked fluke, it waits for prey below, then slides down a trail of greasy drool to swallow them whole. Sure, we all want a fuck that feels like being devoured by a slippery landslide. But are we prepared for the reality?
Number 11, the Beast of Bray Road. Wisconsin's version of a standard werewolf. Honestly, it's not a destination monster fuck, but if you're going to Summerfest anyway, and you look up a listicle about monsters to fuck while you're in Milwaukee, it's number 1 with a bullet.
Number 12, the Dark Watchers. Tall humanoid silhouettes that appear atop the Santa Lucia Mountains in California, vanishing if they're approached. Many witnesses claim that the figures were watching them, but let's not take it for granted that a bunch of Californians are as interesting as they think they are.
Number 13, Snallygaster, a monster from centuries-old American folklore, described by Wikipedia as half reptile, half bird having a metallic beak lined with razor-sharp teeth, occasionally alongside octopus-like tentacles. This thing sounds like it was designed by a monster fucker committee. And I say that as the ranking member.
Number 14, Doppelganger. It's you. Well, it's not you. It's an identical but totally separate creature whom you may hear about after your friends see you somewhere you never were, or doing a thing you'd never do. Just something for all of us to keep in our back pockets in case our work friends ever hear us on this podcast.
Number 15, the Flatwoods Monster, a possible extraterrestrial that appeared in West Virginia after a bright object crossed the sky. Witnesses described a gliding, hissing monster with clawed appendages, glowing eyes, and a head shaped like an ace of spades. So maybe an alien, maybe a barn owl, but it was 10 goddamn feet tall. So let's pray it was an alien for West Virginia's sake.
Number 16, the Dairy Fairy. A 2-foot-tall oddity with wrinkly elephant-like skin, stubby hands and feet, and basset hound ears. Aw. It only had one recorded encounter with humanity. A man in the woods of Derry, New Hampshire, stared at it for 20 minutes, then tried to tackle it, and then ran away and it screamed. Wait, is the human the cryptid in this story?
And finally, number 17, the Enfield Monster. An aggressive monstrosity that bedeviled Enfield, Illinois for over 2 weeks in 1973. Witnesses described it as a 3-legged, gray-furred, pink-eyed beast. But listen, it was dark. The creature was moving fast. Is it possible that wasn't a third leg? I want to believe. All right, and with that, let's open the traps and see what we caught with everyone's median, which is starting with number 9 this time. Kit, who is your number 9?
My number 9 is the Dover Demon. You know that scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once with the hot dog fingers? If that's your thing, then Tiger, you've hit the fucking jackpot.
All right, Sarah, who is your median?
My median is the Beast of Bray Road. He's just a werewolf, and of course I want to fuck a werewolf. I'm not going to stand up here in front of God and everybody and say I don't want to fuck a werewolf. But this is the world of cryptids. I came to get weird. I came to come weirdly. And this is a list that has more to offer than your bog standard movie monster.
James, what about you?
I had number 9 as the Jersey Devil, a creature that I originally ranked much higher, but after looking at the rest of the list and looking at the devil itself, I feel like it's coasting by on fame quite a bit. There aren't many compatible parts to the Jersey Devil, and depictions of the devil in media are always much more attractive than what the creature is actually supposed to be. And obviously, this isn't about attractive. I don't think a camel can suck you off, buds. I don't think it can happen.
That moisture retention, though.
James, the Jersey Devil is also my number 9. I read a romance novel, and he chased the heroine. He fucked her on an altar while she held on his horns while Mothman and Champy watched. It was incredibly hot. Like, it was incredibly fucking hot. And yet, I felt like I can get this from most of them. It did not feel special to me. I was like, oh, he's just a bro. Like he's just a
weird skinny guy from New Jersey.
Yeah. I mean, the horns help, but that's all they're doing. All right, we move down the list.
Bob, can I get a link to that romance novel later for research?
100%.
Thanks, Boo.
It is a fine piece of writing. I highly recommend it.
Literature.
All right. Actually, Sarah, who's your number 10?
My number 10 is the Chupacabra. Pros, the verb suck is literally in the name. There's a couple of different visions I kept seeing of this guy all over the internet. There's the weird winged demon with like porcupine quills, or it's an ugly dog. If we're going porcupine demon, I am there for the true scary monster fuck, like being overpowered by something that could tear you to shreds. But, 50% of the time you might get the ugly dog. Sentient or not, I'm not going to fuck an ugly dog.
Drawing lines here very early. All right, James, who's your number 10?
I went with the Ninjin. It was very vague, a very vague creature, part human, part whale. I think that can either break very good or break very bad, and there's also a problematic size difference between us. I feel like it's rolling the dice too much, even if there is a good chance that the Ninjin could be a sensitive and emotionally open lover.
Oh, yeah, because that whale, that brain.
Yeah, you forged that whale bond.
Whales are people, terrifying, horrifying sea monster people.
They truly are.
Mm.
All right, Kit, you're number 10.
My first big feels. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's Nessie.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Mhm, yeah. When you match up with him, you get so excited. He's tall, dark, and handsome in his photos. But when you meet, he looks nothing like his pictures. You have been deceived. You don't leave the date immediately because that would be too awkward, and at least he has a Scottish accent. You have enough drinks to make the night bearable until finally, your beer goggles make this toy submarine of a man look like a proper sea serpent. But what was the sex like? You don't remember because of all the drinking. Next time, you're sticking to Kelpies.
Oh,
Wow.
Ooh, Kelpies,
Wow.
goddamn.
It's a literal catfish. Like most
Okay,
lake
yeah,
monsters are just big catfish. This is an actual catfish.
Kind of, yeah. You know, if it was a catfish, that'd be better than a toy submarine.
Yeah, at least they got those whiskers.
Yes.
My number 10 is the Snallygaster. He is cool. He's cool. I get the sense this guy's not a communicator. Fucks the same way every time. If you're into somebody like physically claiming your body with theirs every time, you will do well here at the tentacles alone. But for real, if some guy said he sounded like a train when he came, because that's apparently what this thing sounds like, that would be a fucking obsession for me. I would be like, oh, we're keeping score of how many times we have to lie to the cops about like, oh, we were watching a Ken Burns documentary on locomotives with the sound turned up too loud. Yeah, it's too powerful.
Choo choo, motherfucker.
James, you're number 11.
My number 11 is the Loveland Frogman. There's not too much exciting happening with this cryptid. I mean, you do get the advantages of smooth and soft skin, which could be fun. There's a chance that they're cold-blooded, which could be less fun. But what's really going for the Loveland Frogman, and the reason that it hasn't ranked much lower, is you could dress them up as a dapper little frogman. And that's really fun. It's not sexually exciting, but it would be fun to date the Loveland Frogman.
Oh my God, James! I swear to God, why do we think 11 is Loveland Frogland?
Yes!
Loveland Frogland? That sounds like a fun place, actually. The Loveland Frogman is a big feels for me. Because this is kind of a big apology. This is Frog from Chrono Trigger all over again. I'm sorry, but frogs do not fuck. This is just a nice lad who was trying to get home one night when the cops, being the cops, assumed he was dangerous. I think if you went back to his place, he'd croak real cute for you. But he's going to think sex means holding you from behind for several hours while he waits for you to lay eggs for him to ejaculate on. Because that is how frogs do. It'd be a complete waste of a night if it wasn't for the story you'd get to tell your friends at brunch. Right?
If you could get the mucus out of your hair.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 11 is Nessie. I cannot get over the suspicion that it's going to be great, but it's going to be great in such a generic way. Like, this is just what he does on the weekends. I'm a Hansard cryptid bound to my location by ancient magical forces more powerful than you will ever know. You're a tourist here to ride some Scottish dick and take pictures of the scenery. Would you like a tragic lakeside fuck? I don't think Nessie remembers the name of anyone they fuck, but I think they feel overwhelmingly positive about all of them. Like, Nessie is a classic slut. And as a fellow slut, I respect it. And yes, it will be a good time. But something about fucking a cryptid makes you expect some kind of bespoke something. And I think Nessie has a solid script for the whole thing.
You do get to buy a special t-shirt when you're done.
I think Nessie has a discount code that you get at the end of the night.
I think that's great in this economy.
It's true. I can't afford to pay full price for an I fucked Nessie t-shirt.
You picked Nessie, the most generic of all lake monsters. We could have gone really spicy and gone with Mkolo and Bembe, but we got Nessie.
I know. All right, Sarah, who's your number 11?
The Jersey Devil.
Dang.
Yeah, first of all, mommy issues. You know the whole Jersey Devil thing, mommy issues. I am a mother, and I don't do the sexy mommy thing. That's weird to me. That's right out. There are some depictions of him as the more traditional horny devil, which I'm into. I like that he's an impish little fuck. I can get into the sort of like witchy angle. I would love to fuck on an altar. Who wouldn't? Yeah. We could do some spooky witch sex in the woods. I just really can't get over the horse head. If you've seen horses up close, do you know that their hooves are actually just one fingernail? Horses are freaky, man. I can't get over the horse thing.
Yeah, horses are just flipping you off constantly.
They're majestic, whatever. They're nasty.
I love that, like, it's not any of the cryptids. It's just like horses.
Horse stuff, yeah.
Horses. Like, you know, their teeth, like, get longer and weirdly their gums recede as they get older. And they just, so, like, you meet him when he's young and hot. It's just going to get worse. The teeth are just going to get worse.
You have to take him to a special dentist. He'll hate it.
I don't think my insurance covers equine dentistry.
Oh, God. Getting him on your dental plan. A nightmare. Number 12. Kit, who's your number 12?
All right, my number 12 is the Dark Watchers. These guys are specifically for people with an exhibitionism kink, right? They're those guys at the orgy who are just standing off to the side jerking it on their own, even though there's totally space for them. So, if you want to fly solo, but kick it up a kinky, spooky notch, come to California. All dreams welcome.
Folks, my number 12 is also the Dark Watchers.
Oh my God.
And it's for the same reason. This is not a sexual encounter. This is salt or pepper sprinkled on top of a different sexual encounter. The Dark Watchers are there to watch you, not interact with you, which isn't nothing, but it's also not enough something that it would rank higher on my list.
Oh, man, you and Kit. All right. Sarah, who's your number 12?
My number 12 is the Dover Demon. If it was an alien, I could get into it, but it's kind of just another boring iteration of the big-headed, weird nothing burger boy that you see a lot in these cryptids. That doesn't have a lot of lore or behavior to go off of. It does have the long fingers. So that's not nothing, but it's not enough of something for me.
My number 12 is the Enfield Monster. I like a man with interest. He wants to tear up some shoes. I also dislike shoes. Wants to get into a house because being outdoors sucks. Same. Practically the Pina Colada song. So much in common. Now, I do not think that inherently makes for good sex, but I think you could be on like the same wavelength enough with somebody who is like, you know, I don't have radically different priorities than you, which some of these people, there's going to be some real conflict of interest about some of this stuff. Look, we can agree. We want to fuck indoors. We don't want to be wearing shoes. How bad can this go? All right, James, you're number 13.
My number 13, maybe a controversial pick, is the Flatwoods Monster. I took a hard look at this creature. It's got a weird helmet on. That means oral is off the table for like most of what we're talking about here. And I don't know what's going on underneath. You know, there are tentacles there. We know that. I know how octopuses and squids use those. That doesn't feel altogether that compatible. And frankly, the Flatwood Monster, apart from being like, again, a big celebrity cryptid, doesn't feel like it has much of a personality to draw from. So I unfortunately just had to put it lower on the list.
You know what? I also had Flatwoods Monster at 13 because I was like, that aesthetic, I can get it, but I got the feeling like, oh, for you, the sex is the aesthetic. Like, the sex is the way your terrifying cloak billows in the breeze. Ooh. It is the way your glowing eyes catch mine. All right, fine. But I felt like the moment we get anywhere else, like all that's going to go away. So it's like, okay, out in the woods, it's all Wes Craven. And then like the moment we're indoors is like Taika Waititi. And I'm like, That's a different thing, baby. Like we can't be doing that.
Well, I'll need to unpack that later, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Kit, who's your number 13?
It's the Ningen.
Okay.
In this scenario, I have to assume I'm a researcher stationed on or around Antarctica. A Ningen emerges from the water, dripping wet, 20-foot-long schlong ready to go, I guess.
Oh, damn.
Well, that's where this story fucking ends, because y'all should know by now that I love size difference, but this experience will kill me, and not in the sexy killed by a monster kind of way. No, in the incredibly unsexy die of exposure kind of way. It's fucking Antarctica. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Sarah, what about you?
1 second. I'm just putting a pin in that thing about Taika Waititi directed sex.
I don't have it. I know.
YTT, what happened? I thought you really liked shenanigans. Where are we at? Number 13?
Number 13.
All right. My 13 is the Enfield monster. I can't get a good fix on this thing. I know it's not what they look like, but if I can't even get a good, how many legs do you have? That's going to be a problem. The 3 legs, hardy har har. Yes, maybe it's got a big dick. That's great. But if it is a kangaroo, those guys are just deer tilted on a 45-degree angle. Yeah, it's just another weird blobby guy. Sorry, no.
There's so many takedowns happening on this episode, coming for deer and kangaroo, horses. Sarah has a lot of problems.
Standing out in the shadows and screaming does not a sexy encounter make. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Sarah, who's your number 14? What is less sexy than a tilted deer?
What is less sexy? My number 14, the Loveland Frogman. As Kit discussed, frog sex is not particularly sexy. It's very sticky. I am not opposed to a little oviposition play. I mean, if we're going to get weird, let's get weird. But amplexus is just not very hot. You end up, especially if it's like a male frog, the Loveland Frog man, he's going to be much smaller than me, and he's going to be stuck to me like a slimy little jetpack for an hour. No, thank you.
You can get that from a human man.
I can get that from any old human man down on Hollywood Avenue. Come on.
I also have the Loveland Frogman for number 14.
Wow. Oh, poor guy.
I feel like he'd just rather tell me about his day.
Oh.
He's not going to be thinking about fucking. We can fuck. But he's going to be thinking about making sure the recycling gets put out, because otherwise he's going to have to deal with a whole extra week of plastic bottles, and fuck that. Honestly, I get the sense that this guy, less astonished that someone wants to fuck him than that someone wants to hear about his plan for running for city council. Such small local government vibes off the Loveland Frogman for whatever fucking reason.
How does he feel about free public transit, though?
I think probably very pro, just because it would be less cars on the road, and he seems like largely pedestrian. So
actually,
it's going to be
pretty
pro
hot.
that.
Damn.
I know. Yeah. Hey, look, his policies are sexy. But his policies are sexy.
Kind of like Bernie.
Secretly.
Oh, man.
Bless him.
All right, Kit, you're number 14.
The Jersey Devil.
Oh.
This is my final big feels. Actually, strap in. I was a little kid when I first saw the Jersey Devil. Not in person. I didn't live in Jersey at the time. It was the famous 1909 illustration. I will never forget the shiver of pure fear that ran through my body when I saw that image. I was well into my adult life before I could actually look at images of the Jersey Devil without feeling that shiver of dread. So I think he's like that ex you had when you were young, the one who held a lot of power over you when you didn't know anything about sex and relationships, who used you, dumped you, and broke your heart. But in time you grew and realized, that dude ain't shit. He thought putting on a condom was foreplay. So when he slides into your DMs to reconnect, you can tell him that he clops around all high and mighty like he's Chernabog, but he's really just a sad little horse-faced piney, and as they say in Jersey, he can go shit in his hat and put it on. Also, disclaimer to those who know me, who've known me for a very long time, I'm not basing this off of anyone. I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
That was beautiful, Kit. That was poetry.
Thank you.
James.
My number 14 is the Enfield monster. For the most part, I am trying to look at all of these cryptids as though they are a real thing, but most of them have definite descriptions of what they are. When I went to Wikipedia to learn more about this monster, Wikipedia went, I don't know, it's kind of like a fucked up kangaroo, which makes me believe it's actually a fucked up kangaroo. And I don't want any part of that. I don't think that's going to be a good experience for anyone.
I think one of the guys who was interviewed after seeing it was like, no, it's definitely not a kangaroo. I had one of those as a pet back in Australia. And I'm like,
Listen, I know a kangaroo when I see one. I had one unethically out when I was doing weird army stuff and probably pretty high.
Yep.
Oh, damn. All right, Kit, who's your number 15?
The doppelganger. I don't like
Whoa.
looking at my like pictures of myself, so I sure as hell don't want to fuck myself, even if it is an evil and thus inherently sexier version of myself. This may be the worst version of a shapeshifter to fuck, because even if you are into fucking yourself enough to go through with this, your doppelganger is going to purposefully give you the worst sex of your life. That's because they're evil. That's their whole thing. Just soreness and frustration with no orgasm to show for it. You're better off doing a half-assed job of jerking it while looking in a mirror.
Oh, man.
Pretty good.
All right, my number 15 is the Dover Demon. I get the feeling I'm going to be quizzed a lot. I look at that purposeful little face crawling along a stone wall, and I can already tell I'm going to get a lot of, well, I'm not sure. Like, I don't think that the Dover Demon will give me a good time, and I think that if I take my bra off and say, ta-da, I'm just going to get a slight frown. Which means that there is a real low ceiling on this for me as a giver as well as a receiver. All right.
Is that the opposite of a Forever Wild Boobs?
Yeah, it's kind of a
Never
forever
met titties.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, a no cell. True. Unacceptable.
Yucky.
All right. Sarah, you're number 15.
My number 15 is the Dairy Fairy. It's just another one of these where it's not a lot to go on, and the description is very strange. The height difference would be a problem. If there were like 10 of these guys, maybe we could do that.
Oh.
But just one. Now, like, I would fuck an actual goblin or fae creature,
Always.
but this is a discount knockoff. No.
All right, James, you're number 15?
My number 15 is the Slide Rock Bolter. It's a pillow princess on a bed of rocks. It's bringing nothing to the table.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Oof.
Okay.
And that's not
right.
not the bottom. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say, all right, James, who's number 16?
16? That's the Dairy Fairy. Again,
Yeah.
not only is this a Kirkland brand goblin, but the one like trait and attribute apart from looking kind of weird and fucked up, which, you know, isn't going to count you out on a cryptid list, but like it just screams in a horrible way. That's nothing, bud. That's nothing. If I'm trying to top you and you're just going to like wail at me, this isn't going to go farther than me leaving immediately.
Yeah. My number 16 is also...
Is it, Bob? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it the Dairy Fairy?
It is the Dairy Fairy.
Everyone's got the Dairy Fairy at 16.
Go for it, Bob.
I fucked a guy once who seemed befuddled that the sex was happening. Not like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Not that he didn't know what sex was. Not that he wasn't interested. Just like it was an exam, he really, really, really hadn't studied for. And he was doing his best.
I don't want to be compared to pre-calc.
That night would have gone so much better if he just said, nah.
Oh.
But, you know, Dave bounced me on that dick just too powerful sometimes. And I think we both regretted it. Dairy Fairy feels exactly like that's what's going to happen. Any amount of that, it's going to be like, oh, we should have not. No. Kit,
Dairy Fairy.
do it.
It is also known by now that I like meekness as well as size difference. But fucking the Dairy Fairy is going to be like fucking a mouse. A small, easily frightened, easily hurt little guy with little nubs for fingers. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that, though? My tastes are a little problematic, but I don't want my sexual partners to scream in terror when I get all up on them. I'm not a monster. I just fuck them.
Sarah, you're number 16.
My number 16 is the Ningen. So I have pretty severe cetophobia, which is a fear of whales and whale-like things. So that alone makes this weird Arctic whale critter a big no for me. The only reason it's not last is because it has the basic decency to live in the ocean where it fucking belongs.
Spoilers.
Big spoilers. I don't care.
All right. I'm going to go for number 17 because this is big feels.
Ooh.
It's the Ningen.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm a hedonist. My favorite temperature is perfect.
Yes.
My favorite vegetable is the donut. My favorite form of exercise is masturbation. This guy who lives in the frigid north, not gonna get that. Don't come before me. Me, the queen of demanding another orgasm because the previous one was mid, and offer me your bootstraps cold weather fuck. And this is very distinct from the other recluses. I love a recluse. This is something of a recluse edgelord for no discernible reason living out here. Did you see that little face? That dumb fuck little face? Hey, I have a camp stove and plain oatmeal. Is that cool? Only if this is the post-apocalypse is that cool, sir. I do not demand the finest pillows and foie gras, but I damn sure demand the finest something. Not this fucking cold weather misery. No. Okay.
That's why you're still in southern New Mexico. It's the temperature.
Yeah.
I don't even hate being cold that much. I hate it whenever it's like, that's a way of life and it's just like, hey, it's just miserable all the time. That's great. I'm like,
people who get all like, oh, you think this is cold? Like, that's the worst.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, you're an edgelord about how miserable you are? Fuck off. All right. Who do you hate the most, Sarah?
Big feels. And if you know me, y'all saw this coming. Kit, who made the list, you saw this coming. You put this on here for me. Thank you. Also, God damn it. My number 17 is the Slide Rock Bolter.
Oh, yeah?
There's monster fucking, and then there's fucking your worst nightmare. Hard fucking no. Cetophobia, but at least I can rest in safe security, knowing that whales live in the ocean and not the downtown of my metropolitan area. This guy lives on a mountain in a landlocked state. You know, part of monster fucking is looking your greatest fear in the eye and going down on it, but this is a bridge too far for me. This is my special, bespoke, tailor-made worst nightmare. The audacity of this fucking thing to come into the Rockies, to come into my house, and then sit on top of my house and then come down and eat me, and not in a sexy way. The fucking audacity of this thing. No, absolutely not.
All right, Kit, who you saying no to?
Slide Rock Bolter.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Justice.
There we go.
Vor.
All right, James, your worst of the worst.
Yeah, for me, mine does not come from a place of hate or disgust or any of those things. It's the Fresno Nightcrawler. The reason is this is like, with the squonk not on the list, this is the most pathetic cryptid. The thing that it has going for it, it is like perfectly waist height. So you'd think you'd be able to do something there. If it can perform oral sex, it probably doesn't have room or capacity for anything else. So that's the one thing that's going on there. And I cannot ignore that it looks like a fucked up version of the forest spirits from Princess Mononoke. It's just not sexy. It's like child-sized and weird. I want to give it a juice box and not a mind-blowing evening of sex. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, you see like a Fresno nightcrawler out and you're like, hey buddy, I got some fruit snacks. You want some?
It looks cold out there, bud. Let's come inside.
Oh, you're like, I was going to give you a jacket, but that's the wrong, some snow pants maybe?
Oh.
Oh, all right. And that is the bottom of the barrel. It can only get better from here. All right. We start with number 8 and we move up to our number 1. Kit, would you like to start us off with your number 8?
You betcha. Because my number 8 is the Fresno Nightcrawler.
Aha!
Yeah.
Waka waka.
Do it.
ZZ Top said it best when they sang, she's got legs, she knows how to use them. Actually, legs is all she has, all she knows how to use. Imagine going on a romantic little nighttime stroll across people's lawns and ending the night with 2 billowy legs wrapped around you. Haunting. And I like to think that she's a MILF, because there's footage of her walking with an adorable little half-meter tall nightcrawler. So cute. So cute. People in Fresno be seeing very spooky versions of the hot MILFs in your area porn ads, I think. Click them.
Oh, what?
Click them.
I love this take.
Oh, man. Spooky MILFs in your area. Fuck.
Is that me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, man. It's all I've ever wanted.
Sarah, who's your number 8?
My number 8 is the Dark Watchers. I think masturbating while somebody's watching is perfectly legit as sex. Also, I saw this Tumblr post ages ago where it was like, oh, if you're ever intimidated by a ghost or demon hanging out in your bedroom in the middle of the night, all you got to do is whisper, baby, this is for you.
Yeah.
Try and make eye contact with them and then just start jerking off as hard as you can. Don't break eye contact. Best case scenario, they're like weirded out. You've asserted your dominance and they leave. And the worst case scenario is that you get to fuck a demon, which sounds awesome. So
you mean the best case scenario?
They're both the best case scenario. The best case scenario is they fuck off. The actually still pretty good case scenario is that you get to fuck a demon, which, yeah. That's all I really have to say about it is, if you're a bit of a exhibitionist, which I'm not an exhibitionist, the Dark Watchers sound pretty fun.
I love that Tumblr had all this like life hack advice for like, hey, has this ever happened to you? Just fucking make eye contact and start jerking it.
But you're going to hang out in my bedroom?
Tumblr is kind of the cryptid of social media, right?
It is.
Yeah,
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. James, your number 8.
My number 8 is the Dover Demon, based purely on the fact that thing looks like it knows how to tickle a prostate. It's also like the fingers are long. They look soft.
They do.
There's definitely this thing shoves its fingers in your mouth thing. Like it is, I would argue, slightly more interesting than an alien gray. But again, there's not a lot of personality here. That's just me thinking about, well, how could I use its body?
My number 8 is the Beast of Bray Road. Okay, stuck around Bray Road. This feels like a sports fan on a bender who just happens to live near Bray Road. Like, yeah, this guy is a cryptid, but when the local team does great, he just kind of loses his shit and goes tearing through the night, chasing cars and deer and stuff. Total wow boobs. He's going to give you a terrific one-night stand fuck, but if you put on one of his jerseys and wear it while he fucks you, oh my God. The wide, helplessly enamored eyes of this werewolf boy. Unbelievable. All right, Kit, you're number 7.
The Flatwoods Monster. This is the alien robot size difference fuck. 3 kinks rolled into one. You cannot pass up this deal. Act now before it flies away screeching into the night. It's definitely not just a barn owl in a tree. All fucks are final.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
My number 7 is the Chupacabra. I feel like you half worried this guy's going to give you mange.
Yeah.
Doesn't talk a lot, but he does that thing. He watches your movements like he's tracking you and he gets you alone. First thing he does, that pressing the nose into your neck and breathes, but it's that breathing like he's memorizing your scent. So he's like, oh, I can find you anywhere now. No bedside manner, but just fucks you like you existed for him to catch and devour. Leaves in the night. You may never hear from him again. You may hear from him again next week. You have no way of knowing. Sarah, you're number 7.
My number 7 is the doppelganger for pretty basic reasons. You get the appeal of fucking yourself, and who knows how to fuck you better than you. Plus, as Kit said, it is an evil you, which is inherently sexier. They could potentially shapeshift into anybody, so you could have a bespoke fuck. Yeah, sorry, I'm basic. I guess doppelganger.
And James, what about you? You're number 7.
My number 7 is Nessie. Nessie is for a long time was one of my favorite cryptids growing up, and I just have this real admiration for her. She is royalty, above all royalty. It's a fuck that is mostly about me worshiping the creature, which I can get on board with. I'm not going to say that like, oh, this is something that I want more than once, but like as a one-time thing, I think it could be a special experience.
That's really beautiful. Oh, I'm happy. Look, I hope it works out for you. Like legit. I hope this happens for you, James.
Yeah, well, I hope Nessie's not just like a plesiosaur, you know. Gotta be a little bit smarter. Got to get some of that magical whatever in there.
Oh yeah. All right, number 6. I'm gonna blow everybody's fucking minds. My number 6 is the slide rock bolter.
What?
Well, goodbye.
It's all about that mouth. Like, no, because someone who lies in wait until they can get their mouth all over whatever you got down there. And like the kind of person who's not a prissy eater whenever they eat out either. Like you got to put down a towel for all the drool. If you've ever been with somebody who likes oral so much that you're like, are you an erosion risk to my genitals? Like, is that a thing that can happen? This is that person. Get you a slide rock bolter.
That exfoliating head.
Oh, no.
Kit, who's your number 6?
Bigfoot.
No.
Believe it? Higher than I thought. I thought about it like this. Here we are. She's a recluse who lives off the land and off the grid. Shaving is as pointless to her as fashion is. But she knows how to wreck you. No frills and lots of mud, just as Mother Nature intended. Not normally my thing, but strong. Do love a strong. Afterward, you tell your closest friends, but they don't believe you. They want proof. Of course. And all you have is a blurry dick pic. Damn it.
All right, James, you're number 6.
My number 6 is the Snallygaster. There's a lot going on with this one. It ticks a lot of different boxes in terms of monstrous physiology. I feel like as the exotic fuck goes, this is taking you pretty far. You're getting like dragon stuff, you're getting harpy stuff, you're getting all kinds of tentacles are in there. That's a lot. There's a lot you can do.
Yeah, that thing is nuts.
Kind of what the Flatwoods monster I think wishes it was, instead of just an owl.
Yeah.
Sarah, what about you?
My number 6 is the Fresno Nightwalker. It is the rare and precious whimsical fuck.
Aww.
They just look so silly. You know, I just love it. And also this is the honest to God chance to give scissoring a real college try. Nobody wants to try scissoring because we've all assumed like that doesn't fucking work. That was invented by male directors to show lesbian sex. It doesn't work. But if anybody knows how to scissor, it is the Fresno Nightwalker. Like, hell yes, I want to try it. I want to really go for it. And I think
when you put it that way, it doesn't even need to know what it's doing. It's small enough that you can just kind of move it around.
Yeah, you can. They're a weird pair of pants. What shame do they have? You see the way they strut across people's lawns? They have no shame.
I yearn to walk with the pride of a Fresno Nightcrawler.
Such pizzazz.
Do not we all wish to walk with such self-possession?
An icon.
On to number 5. James, you're number 5.
My number 5 is the chupacabra. There are a lot of different ways to look at this monster. It's a weird little gremlin that attacks livestock. It's a dog that has some bad mange. But you could also look at it and question, what does goat sucker mean? Is it the greatest of all time at sucking? Or is it like Sword in the Stone style, meant to suck off someone who is the greatest of all time?
Oh.
I'm willing to find out.
Oh, shit. Okay, do you think that it plays the Zelda fiddle-dee-dee? Like if you find out one way or the other?
Yes, absolutely.
My 5 is Choops. It's the
Yeah!
Choopa. I think this is 4, James? I think this is the 4th one.
Kit, we need like a film or something where we just go around two good friends hooking up with different monsters.
Yeah, pretty much.
It would be on FX, I think.
So yeah, Choops. I mean, what hasn't already been said about it? Every few episodes, we get a character that fulfills the nasty boy that fucks trope, and I think it's old Chupa. He's a mess.
Yeah.
A freeloader. Always a little bit musky. But the things he can do with his mouth? It's been said. The greatest of all time joke has been said more than once. I think it's fact now.
All right, Sarah, who's your number 5?
All right, big feels a little bit. My number 5 is the Flatwoods Monster. Once again, because in my research for this episode, I Tumblred her. I searched for her on Tumblr, sorry. And AO3, and there is a surprising amount of very beautiful, moving, like crashed alien all alone on Earth fic about her. And like we all have the sort of like your sexy alien savior fantasy, but imagine being the sexy alien savior.
Oh, wow.
She's crashed alone in the woods of West Virginia. You find her, you nurse her back to health. I don't know what that would mean for her. Maybe a lot of welding. I don't know. I know some welders. But like this is, you know, she's not higher because it would be the one kinky, tender fuck before she has to go back to the stars, but she carries the memory of you with her across the nebulas. Just this beautiful interspecies encounter. So I have feelings about the Flatwoods Monster. I love her.
Wow. Well, I'm going to feel cheap now whenever I say that my number 5 is the doppelganger. Okay. Look, I am not my cup of tea necessarily, but I would be so fucking incensed by the audacity of someone to doubt what I could do. Like, we would both make the, I don't know, bud face. And then both of us, like, out comes every Miss Piggy part of us. The disbelief, the ire, the exquisite peak. I don't know if I can fuck me hard enough to make me say the classic, "How are you real?" But that is absolutely the win condition that each of us is gunning for. I don't know whether that makes it good sex or not, but certainly an encounter one would not forget. On to number 4. Kit, you're number 4.
Good old Enfield Monster.
Oh, man.
Yep. Reading about the first sighting of the Enfield Monster, I just felt so sorry for him. All he did was rap at some guy's door at night. Probably just cold because it's Illinois in April. And then he gets shot at. Fucking rude. Why? Because he's got 3 legs? What if that third leg ain't actually a leg? Come on. Listen out. Monster baby, you can come rap at my door with that third leg, okay? I'll hold you up. I like a little sad sack.
I like this combination of a pity fuck and a hospitality fuck.
Yeah, that's sweet. Sarah, you're number 4.
My number 4 is the Snallygaster.
Oh, dang. All right.
I just want to fuck a dragon. Why does God and capitalism stand in my way to fuck a dragon? And this is a dragon with tentacles who, according to the lore, hangs out with moonshiners. This is a party fuck. Yeah, apparently they...
What?
Yeah, no, apparently the moonshiners up in the mountains of Appalachia kind of use this as like, ooh, don't look for our stills, T-men. So like this guy, he is all down with ACAB. He hangs out with moonshiners. This is a drunk party fuck in the woods. And it's a dragon. So yes, absolutely.
Germanic too, so it gets a little nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. All right. James, what about you? You're number 4.
My number 4 is Bigfoot. This is the tender emotional fuck on the list. Like, truly, Bigfoot is so powerful and so hairy, so primal and raw, but they would be so tender and gentle with you. No matter like which Bigfoot it is, like male, female, whatever, there is definitely this thing that I think like elephants, apparently like the same chemicals go off in their brain when they see humans as we do when we see kittens. So I kind of feel like there's something of that. Like the Bigfoot sees a human being and knows that it needs to be gentle, but we're also like similar enough that we can form this like romantic connection and really have a great time together.
I love this. This is really beautiful. All right. My number 4, Fresno Nightcrawler.
Woo!
People just don't get how important like low stakes sex is. It is hard to find people you can just have like no frills, just fun sex with. You can just be like, hey, can you help me get off before you like go back to doing chores? Or like, let's just like take turns jiggling each other's asses while we wait for the coffee to heat up. it just doesn't matter if the sex is that good this particular time because you'll have better sex the next time. Like whatever. This is a mulligan. It doesn't count. Do these pants look stressed about it to you? No, baby, it's whatever. The only thing the Fresno Nightcrawler is particular about is their post-fuck In-N-Out burger order. That is it. Everything else, whatever. I love these pants so much.
A quick question.
Yes.
Is jiggling your partner's ass, does that count as sex?
It's like a kind of just like bonding activity.
Okay, because I was like, I have a lot more sex than I thought I did.
I think it depends. I think it depends on what county you're in.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that to someone that I'm good friends with,
But is it sex?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it depends on the kind of relationship you've got. So, I mean, I think it's in the sex adjacent category.
I think if cyber sex is sex, then ass jiggling can definitely be sex.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kit, you have loads of sex.
I'm just gonna get all up on Dan without giving him any context, like long before this episode comes out, and I'm just gonna butt jiggle him like, we're doing it right now.
Be like, I don't know what's happening, but all right. Okay, actually, Kit, you're number 3.
Snallygaster.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yep.
Another MILF in my opinion, but this one's more than just a nice pair of legs. Snally is a bird dragon monstrosity of taste. A real monster fucker catch. Forget about the Flatwoods monster. That was definitely just a barn owl. Do you like hentai? That you already know what them tentacles do. As for me, it never seems to fail. I continue to be weak for a beak. I didn't see it coming, but I don't know why. I should have. I should have knew this one was going to end up high as soon as that beak appeared.
Oh, man. You do love a fucking beak.
I don't know.
James, you're number 3.
My number 3 is the man himself, the Beast of Bray Road.
Yeah.
This is an above average werewolf fuck. I demanded to have the Beast of Bray Road on the list because in sightings of the Beast of Bray Road, it is not uncommon for the witness to remark, he looks like he works out.
Oh my God.
This is a situation where somebody is seeing something completely ineffable. It has been described by people as a bear with a wolf on it. It is a huge creature between 6 and 7 feet tall. And in all of like the true horror of seeing a creature like that, normal people, not monster fuckers, people who don't understand the first thing about Tumblr, look at that and go, this thing's in really good shape. So
wow.
the Beast of Bray Road takes care of himself. Also, all of his sightings are, I guess this was Big Feels. All of his sightings are about like him maybe menacing people, but it's more like a situation where the person that saw him got scared. It's not like he did anything to threaten them or chase them or anything. I think this is a big himbo. This is like a werewolf that takes care of himself and is friendly enough to say hi to people driving around in the middle of Wisconsin late at night. He's great. Again, you get all the passion and snarling enthusiasm of a werewolf fuck, but you get it in approachable and, ooh, so tight body.
Wow. All right, Sarah, you're number 3.
My number 3 is Nessie, and this is the beginning of Sarah's Harlequin romance novel cover cryptid thing. This one's all vibes. I'm thinking midnight fucks under the stars, the beautiful Scottish countryside. I'm wearing some sort of flowy thing. The act of taming this creature that is so shy, but it somehow comes to your hand under the moon and stars and shit. Just Kel romance. I love it.
Yeah.
I know it would be very cold and wet. But wetsuit technology has come a long way, and so will I.
That was very romantic. Change of tone. Number 3, the Dark Watchers. I've been in plenty of long distance situations. You know what? Turn the webcam off and tell me what to do. I got to be in the mood for it, but there is something about like not just being like looked at, but being like observed, like you're in a room with a two-way mirror situation, like being silently and hornily watched. Yes, please. Obviously, Dark Watcher Hour, inevitable feature of my fucking inevitable someday OnlyFans page. But until then, this cryptid has my needs fucking covered. The Dark Watcher is everything. Kit, you're number 3.
Sorry, I'm just still thinking about like, oh yeah, obviously the Dark Watchers, they're like probably a huge percentage of the OnlyFans community.
That's you know what? Most of the people who subscribe on OnlyFans are actually just Dark Watchers.
So. Wow.
It's very sexy scientist. You know, you're really not supposed to interact with your subject.
Yeah.
They're the one in the ghillie suit.
It's kind of complicated because like, you know, do they want to get involved in everything? Like, do they send a message or do they just like quietly send you like the tip thing?
Oh, definitely. Quietly, definitely the tip, just the tip. Mm-hmm.
Here's an ethogram of all the behaviors I want to see. Take your pick.
This is it. Everybody's top 2. James, you're number 2.
Mothman. It's gotta be Mothman.
Yeah.
Going to Point Pleasant, seeing that statue, touching his ass. It's just clear. There's something special about this boy. The glowing eyes, the dedication to protecting us from our crumbling infrastructure. There's everything to love about Mothman. And as long as you're loving it, why not have a little fun on the way?
You got to go and touch his butt.
There's a big Mothman statue at Point Pleasant.
No, I know about that, but you got to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love the dream.
Is the metal like very shiny on his butt where you could tell people have been grabbing that thing?
Oh, yeah. That's like the second idea that you have. It's like, oh, let's take a picture in front of that statue. I'm going to touch that statue's ass.
There is hope for humanity, I think.
My number 2 is Big Feels. It's also Mothman. This is very specific, though. I read a romance novel with Mothman as a West Virginia cowboy type from the turn of the century. Big, flappy leather duster cowboy hat. I'm going to read you a quote from his internal monologue from Run and Hide by Beatrix Hollow.
Okay.
You're all going to... I can't see you because I have to look at this. I cannot wait to hear the silence after I read this. I didn't just want to fuck this girl. I wanted to carve our names in a tree and ask her to go steady. I wanted to be close enough that if she was already on the toilet when I had to go, she'd open her legs wide and let us piss in the bowl together. that was the type of relationship to aspire to. Reader, I swooned. This unpardonably filthy motherfucker. This absolutely feral, my clothes only get cleaned when it rains, garbage fuck. If you do not like the way stale booze and cigarettes taste on someone's tongue, if you've never licked drunken sweat off of someone while they're on top of you, I cannot explain it. No filter, no pretense, just desire so intensely personal it borders on alienating. I love it. It's so disgusting. It is so unwashed. I love being the trashy one, but god damn, it hits so good whenever someone else is so disgustingly into you that they're not afraid to be that trashy. He's not gonna ask if he can smell your panties. He's gonna grab them and huff them like it's a fucking whippet.
He's a moth. He's gonna eat your panties.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm nasty for this fucking Mothman book. It's unexcusable. All right. Kit, you're number 2.
I don't know if I can follow that, but anyway.
I know, it's the worst thing ever, and yet I think about it all the time.
And I don't know if I can follow that, but yet I must continue on. All right. On to the Beast of Bray Road. Because wolves fuck. This is fact. This is fact, just like frogs don't fuck is fact. I'm cementing this dichotomy now. Wolf and frog. So sorry. Feel free to write long hate mails to me. You can send them to frogsdon'tfuck@gmail.com. Anyway, the beast is a werewolf, so this was the easiest ranking I've ever done. All right. I am who I am.
All right, Sarah, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Bigfoot because I'm a basic bitch. I do feel bad for putting Beast of Bray Road in the median and then turning around and being like, oh, Bigfoot, which is really just a were ape, orangutan maybe. But kind of everybody's already said it. He is big and powerful and elusive, but he is tender with you. He can throw you around, but chooses to be gentle. Also, there's this great story of him like destroying an urban like construction site where they were, encroaching upon his habitat, upon the woods. And I would love to do property damage and then fuck on top of an overturned excavator with this big ape boy. I love it.
Yes. And that takes us to number 1. My number 1 is Bigfoot. Bigfoot's not flashy or fancy or cool. Like, lots of places have Bigfoots. They're humanoids. There's not a bunch of special features. But it's just, he's so lonely. He's so lonely. And then, like, doesn't want to be around people. And then so tender. And so Bigfoot is everything. Bigfoot is Bigfoot is Mary. Bigfoot is not just fuck. Like, yeah, you should fuck Bigfoot. Everybody out there, if you're listening, if you have a chance to fuck a Bigfoot, you should absolutely fuck a Bigfoot. Do not stop at fucking Bigfoot, though. You fuck the Bigfoot. Drive down to the local jeweler. Try to somehow surreptitiously figure out the size of this Bigfoot, like whatever you're putting a ring on. And then get you the nicest ring you can possibly get. Go back to wherever that Bigfoot lives and propose to that Bigfoot immediately and then move in with them. This is Bigfoot. Bigfoot. That is all I have to say.
Bob is broken. Or cured. Fixed, perhaps. So,
all very understandable.
Baby, I want to be picking your hair out of my teeth for the rest of my life. If you're listening, sweetie, like, please rate and review, but also, like, find me. I love you so much, Bigfoot. All right, somebody else go while I calm the fuck down.
Bigfoot, subscribe to Bob, is what Bob is saying.
All right, Kit, you go. You're number 1.
I mean, is anyone surprised that it's Mothman? Or me? The moth lover? It's not even really a moth. This is more of a burb. And I love burbs, so here we are. But most importantly, am I an ass man? Yes. Very, very ass man. Am I going to die in a major disaster after my night with Mothman? Most certainly. Will it be worth it? Please refer to the first question for my feelings on the matter. That is all. I'm the simplest number one.
All right. Sarah, you're number one.
My number one is a big feels. And it is also Mothman.
Yay!
Official hottest cryptid. He's like Bigfoot, but more. You get the big, powerful, strange creature who can also be tender with you. Also, you get sort of the really weird alien stuff. Like Bigfoot, he's my number two. Of course I want to fuck Bigfoot, but he is very hominid. He's very humanoid. With Mothman, you get sort of the ideal cryptid fuck. He's got a proboscis. He's got antenna. He has arms, maybe, or maybe arms and wings. That ass you could bounce a quarter off of. Also, if he is, I'm not sure if he is a bird or a moth, but if he is a moth and a male, he may have something called a koromata or a hair pencil, which is, I'm sorry, a very disgusting name for this appendage some male moths have, which are like these tentacly, feathery appendages that they spread pheromones. They're not penises. They're very penis-like. And so you also get the tentacle thing, potentially, with Mothman. And then after he swoops you up and fucks you nasty in his weird bird moth nest, you get to fall asleep on that feathery, soft, broad, muscular chest. So beautiful.
I didn't even think about fucking koromata. And then now that you've said that, is there higher than one?
One
yeah,
plus.
because he's going to be like filling you with sex molly the whole time.
Pheromones, just the really alien stuff.
By the way, listeners, pull over if you're listening in the car, whatever. Just look up koromata. Look up what weird shit hides inside of male moths.
Yeah. Koramata. Koromata. You might also find more success with hair pencils. Once again, I'm sorry, it's a really gross term.
They're kind of beautiful in a monster way.
So strange, yet so promising.
Oh, dang. All right.
Yeah, that's wild.
I'm not against it. All right, James. James, you're number one.
My number one is a big feels. And the doppelganger.
Yeah!
Interesting.
So, here's the thing. Already, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm like. That's worth a high ranking in and of itself. However, as many people have pointed out throughout these rankings, the doppelganger is evil. You know, it is a fey creature that has come here to hunt me, to replace me, which is why it will be so delicious when this creature discovers that its mind is nowhere near as devious as mine. And it is not prepared for the realities of being in my body. But I know everything about that. And over time, I will teach this creature what it is like to occupy my body. I will make it grateful for that. And by the end of our experience together, it will so dearly love the collar around its neck, and I will have a wonderful new toy.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
Next level.
That's the galaxiest brain.
So big.
Top your villains.
Top your villains, and you're like the villain who tries to take over like you. And you're like, no. Fuck. Oh, that's so good.
Alas.
I love a bait and switch fuck. You came here to fuck me? Ha! You fool!
That is kind of a lot of mythology, isn't it? It's actually.
Now, much like the people who show up after a sighting and want to ask all kinds of probing details like, were you drinking? And Was it really that big? It was. We have our segment for the naysayers and skeptics called Let's Unpack That. Feel free to poke at someone's choice or just ask for a longer fanfic. I have a question for all of you based very much on my number one Bigfoot. So, Hard Choices does very much presume fuck, not marry. But I always break my rule whenever it comes to like my number one usually because I'm like, no, it's both. But on this list, who do you feel like, you know what? Over a long term in this relationship, I think this cryptid is like marry material.
I think Nessie maybe, because she probably... Do they have socialized healthcare in Scotland? I think they do. So I can get citizenship. Also, it's beautiful. I've been there. It's gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
There's a castle. I assume it's hers. I'd love to live in a castle. And yeah, she just seems very chill. She seems super nice.
She's a low drama spouse, I feel like.
She is very low drama, but extremely dedicated. She has been haunting that one lock for since, I don't know, what age were the plesiosaurs in?
Oh.
Since ye olden, and like super ye olden times.
Ye old dinosaur times.
Ye old dinosaur times.
The Cambrian period or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
James, any of these making merry for you?
So I kind of feel like most of these are just somewhere in the polycule. Like I don't know that there's like a one and only spot on this list, but like definitely with Mothman, again, I am passionate about our crumbling infrastructure, and I feel like the Mothman could really be an asset in helping us out with this. It's also like West Virginia's pretty, but the Mothman also comes to visit Chicago. So, you know, be a satellite once in a while. Just have a great night on the town with the Mothman and then talk about civic rejuvenation.
Oh, man. Okay, next question is forming the polycule. Kit, if you're picking one to marry.
Huh. I don't know. I want to believe it's Beast of Bray Road, but like it's probably not. It's probably Enfield Monster, isn't it?
Oh man.
Just a cutie. Just a cutie I can cuddle with after getting that third leg.
Nice.
Listen, you can't fuck nasty forever. Sometimes you gotta have somebody who's cute and reliable and has a huge dick.
All right. James has opened up the beautiful possibility of the polycule. All right. Because a lot of the cryptid romance novels are reverse harem.
Mm-hmm.
So, or like polycule ones. So your ideal combination of these cryptids for like the best possible polycule experience.
Okay. So obviously the doppelganger is like my sweet little pet. So that's going to be a part of like whatever situation's going on. I think apart from the Mothman, like going for Bigfoot. Bigfoot is an important get because Bigfoot feels very passionate about their woodworking projects and, you know, will be a handy person to have around the house, which you need. Bigfoot does not mind cleaning up after everyone. Bigfoot is, in fact, very happy to do it as long as, you know, you help out when they ask.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'd say maybe Nessie. Nessie is, again, part in that position. It's like a little bit intimidating, you know?
I definitely want Bigfoot. I don't know that I want Mothman in my polycule. I think he's a satellite. I think you fuck Mothman periodically, but I don't think I want him like in the mix.
Sure.
Fresno Nightcrawler, though.
I love to go on walks.
Yeah, like just a chill hang. And then Beast of Bray Road.
Yeah.
That seems like they can gel. Nobody's too high conflict. Everybody's going to be cool about it. Although I will say, I think ultimately Bigfoot is going to be like, I would appreciate more alone time, please. Because like the Fresno Nightcrawler like hangs out together. You don't see like Bigfoots together.
Sure.
That's true.
Kit?
I think you're right, Bob. That something about Mothman, just not really polycule material. So yeah, satellite for sure. Gotta do Beast of Bray Road because I mean, you gotta have the fun one. Gotta have the one that keeps me going to the gym, man. I need that motivation because I don't got it on my own.
Yeah, and we're ignoring that the Snallygaster is like canonically fun.
Yeah. Oh, here's the thing. Here's my thought on the Snallygaster. She was gonna be my other one. So for me, it's Beast and Snally. Snally, boss bitch. I feel like, I need a mature person in my life. That's why I married Dan. Dan is kind of my Beast and Snally rolled into one. He's a doof, but very much an adult whenever it's necessary. I am never an adult. I refuse.
Oh man, yeah, don't get suckered in.
It's a trap.
Yeah, I do love that, like, everybody's like, oh, you gotta have a himbo in there. They're just like, it's like putting salt on your food. You just, you can't not have one in there.
It brings out the flavors in all of the other members of the polycule.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't live your life and not get silly once in a while. Just get ridiculous.
Yeah. Ew.
I also feel like the edibles are going to hit the Beast of Bray Road real hard.
Ooh.
That's going to be fun. And the edibles are going to hit the Nightcrawler real hard. And that's going to be
We might
good time.
only know these creatures from when they are deep in that edible.
Is like real high. Do you think the Nightcrawler just kind of turns into a reverse wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man?
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe.
Oh, I can see it. Oh, it's perfect.
How cute.
I'd be constantly bothering the Fresno Nightcrawler to be like, hey, baby, would you like put on booty jorts?
Do you think you'd see legs, or would it just be like floating jorts at that point?
I don't know,
That's
but
so
I would.
Funny.
I would really want it to be like Daisy Dukes.
Walk, walk, fashion baby.
Yeah,
In the highest of high heels.
Yes, absolutely. I did have a postcard for a while that was one in thigh high like stockings.
Oh, cute.
And like cute little shorts looking and it had like tiny little rosy cheeks, like it knew how cute it was. Like, of course you are. You're so cute, you little Fresno Nightcrawler.
All right, so who was you like? You were like, oh, outside it's Clive Barker, inside it's Taika Waititi. Was that Loveland Frogman?
No, that one was the Flatwoods Monster.
Flatwoods Monster. Don't come up in here and pretend you don't love ridiculous shenanigans sex. You know you would love a sex scene directed by Taika Waititi. Why did you come here to lie to me?
Yeah.
It's because I don't want to be fronted. Like, I don't want this Flatwoods Monster to come at me with this, like, this terrifying and to be so beautiful and so imposing that I'm like, oh, I'm not worthy. Like, you are dressed as an Alexander McQueen, like, masterpiece, and I am nothing. So I go home with the expectation that, like, that's where we're going. And then get there, and then inevitably, like, you're not outside, you're not in that context anymore. It's like, it's all going to fall apart. It's not going to be the same thing anymore.
She's
going to,
like, wang her head on your ceiling and...
Yeah, get caught in the ceiling fan.
She's going to take off that, like, spade head thing and...
Yeah, and then it's going to be awkward because you're going to be like, well, where do you want me to put it? And be like, there's not really a place in the house where that's a natural place to put that. Certainly not if we don't want the dogs to get it. I think you have to fuck outside in the music video or you don't fuck.
I mean, that's fine with me.
That's true.
I have a question for Kit. What kind of genitalia do you think the Snallygaster has? Do you think it's like a bird cloaca or like reptilian hemipenis? Or I guess some birds actually have external genitalia, like the ostrich, which if you've ever seen an ostrich penis, it's pretty horrifying.
It looks kind of like a giant human dick.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised there's not more terrible things online about it. But yeah,
You're just not looking hard enough.
let's just say it's like a ratite. It's like those large flightless bird penises, but two of them, because if you can pick two penises, always pick two penises.
Always pick
Are
two.
those the schloop penises where it's like it's inside and then it schloops out?
That's the reptilian
they
kind.
look like little tentacly, shriveled up chilies, peppers.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
I know I'm not making a great case here, but
But it's hot.
it's
though.
a dragon, so it's got to be hot.
Yeah. James, you sounded like you had some shit you were going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously the Loveland Frogman didn't do well because nobody wants to fuck the frog and the frog doesn't fuck. But would you give a frog who's dressed in a waistcoat and a tweed jacket a piggyback ride for a while?
Fuck yes.
Like a sexy
Absolutely.
piggyback ride or just a regular one?
You know, I just think the frog wants a piggyback ride. So it's like you do realize this could be sexy for the frog. I'm not going to fuck this frog, but the frog will think the piggyback ride is sex. So it's like, you know,
I would.
How heavy is the frog? My first question.
Oh,
'Cause
that's a good point.
I'm
I don't
weak
like going to the
back.
gym that bad.
well, we pointed out that the frog must be smaller than us. So
You're right.
I'm going to say like it's enough that like you don't want to do this all day, obviously, but you could successfully give this frog a piggyback ride for sure.
If this frog is
Okay.
dressed as dapper, as you say, I'm going to expect something in return. I will definitely give a piggyback ride for like some kind of, I don't know, some magical fey favor, I suppose.
I guess. Plus, he comes with his own lube, so yeah,
It's just a piggyback
All right.
ride.
just a big. Well, if we're talking
Just
about
a piggyback
something in return, but yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, I don't
You're
even
still
need
having sex
fucking.
with this frog.
I don't need him to fuck me or anything. Gonna give me like, I don't know, a potion that lets me turn into an animal or something after this? I don't
Sure.
know, man.
Yeah,
All I
you'll
can
probably get a
think
potion.
all I can think of is that little nasty frog from Spirited Away, who gets eaten by Note Face very quickly.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, Master Haku.
That's him. That's a frog man.
That's the Loveland Frogman.
Yep.
All I'm thinking about is that one frog from Beatrix Potter, and like, would we fuck that one frog from Beatrix Potter?
Which one?
You don't remember the frog as Jeremy something? Jeremy Waistcoat or whatever the fuck Beatrix Potter names her goddamn characters.
No, but Frog and Toad, maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's going to bother me if I don't find out what it is. Jeremy Beatrix Potter. Jeremy Fisher. Might as well have fucking been Jeremy fucking waistcoat.
I like Jeremy Waistcoat. Canon.
Yeah. And he's got little spats. Honestly, I think the problem with the Loveland Frog is that the Loveland Frog is not wearing clothes.
You're right.
I
Nailed
think you put clothes on an amphibian, like you put a suit on a newt.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's suddenly
I'm ready to
a
make some
tuxedo.
deals.
Aww.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm like,
So cute.
all right. Yeah, tuxedo on a salamander. I'm like, hello. I saw you from across this moist wooded area. I'm interested in getting to know you further. I guess I was surprised that Nessie,
Ranked as low, yeah.
yeah, or was just not kind of a universal despite being such a beloved one. But the plesiosaur, not necessarily the most erotic. Although I say that about in comparison to an ape man and a Mothman.
I
know
think
what I
those
mean?
are easier to engage with. There's
That's
still
true.
man at the end of those, you know?
It's true.
You have no vision.
Because the Loch Ness Monster romance novels are all shapeshifter romance novels.
Oh, that's... So remember what you were telling us about that one story where Champy
Yes.
was watching?
Yes.
I was imagining it just looked like Champy, but they were like near a lake. And that's how it was peeping.
No, Champy could shapeshift.
No.
Are they
No.
still at least pretty dinosaur-y? Or is it just like a hot person?
This one had some real world building stuff going on. So they are largely humanoid whenever they are doing humanoid stuff. But whenever they go to their place of power, then they are in their natural shape.
So you could go like halfway between their place of power and like the grocery store. Yeah.
The one final thing I wanted to say is that I feel kind of bad for the Jersey Devil because I feel like the Jersey Devil is coming out here swinging, trying to make something happen, and goddamn.
At the end of the day, he's just from New Jersey, man.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just,
what are you
tiny.
going to do?
yeah,
Yeah, no.
it's kind of a bummer.
That cool leather jacket he bought is not doing as much as he thinks it's doing.
Nope.
Fucking nailed it. Yeah, it's like, I've seen it, all right? 13th baby? Oh, whatever.
Hey, no, I'm into the fucking devil. I'm into Satan stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
Let's get it.
And now we can reveal at last the things that conventional science said couldn't be done. We ranked a representative sample of cryptids, and now we're going to find out our median, zenith, and deer starting from the bottom of that list. All right, number 17. I don't think we're surprising anybody. The dairy fairy.
Aw.
Scream and run away. That's probably where you belong. Number 16, Ningen. Number 15, despite my attempts, the slide rock bolter.
Good.
Good
Should have been
lord.
lower.
Where it fucking
Fort-
belongs.
Number 14, Loveland Frogman.
Yeah, sorry, bud.
Number 13, Dover Demon. Number 12, oof. The Jersey Devil and the Enfield Monster are tied.
Wow.
Like-
How the mighty have fallen.
God
Wow.
damn.
You know the Jersey Devil would like bully that little guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would, and make us hate him more. Number 10 is the Flatwoods Monster. Interestingly, our number 9, our median, is a tie between, this is a kind of a funky pairing, Dark Watchers and Fresno Nightcrawler.
This makes total sense. The Dark Watchers are simply an accessory to something you do with someone else.
That's true.
They're the weird Californians. Yeah.
They are. And they're just chilling out together. I mean, separately, but together.
You're out there fucking a Fresno Nightcrawler on the lawn, and who's inside watching away? It's the Dark Watchers.
Keeping on top of it. Number 7 is Nessie.
Wow.
And then number 6 is the Doppelganger. Number 5, Chupacabra. Number 4, Snallygaster.
Woo.
Number 3, doing very well for himself, our himbo, Beast of Bray Road.
Yes.
Number
Nailed it.
2 is Bigfoot. And number 1, I think surprising no one, is Mothman. Our true median is the Dark Watchers, actually,
There you
because we had a narrower range
Man,
Mm.
this
in our
list
rankings. So
feels so correct.
Yeah.
This feels
yeah,
like
we
yeah.
really nailed it.
the most correct
Yeah.
list I've ever heard.
it's like, this is just accurate. And people would be like, what do you mean? It'd be like, no, sorry. These are the numbers simply are what they are.
Yeah, like I joke about the slide rock bolter, like, oh, it should be last. But honestly, like, at least that thing is like terrifying. The dairy fairy is just like, oh my God, set out a glue trap.
Yeah.
It's just
like-
a little goblin with anxiety.
It's like,
Aw. That's just relatable, not fuckable.
Exactly. Oh my God, so fucking relatable. If I saw the dairy fairy, I'd be like, oh, that's right. I should call my psychiatrist and check in, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Like, that's what that is a reminder to do, not to like go fuck a cryptid.
Yeah. I wouldn't set out a glue trap. I would set out a perfectly humane thing.
Oh, we know.
I would take it to be relocated. And then I wouldn't even like think about it again. This isn't, yeah.
If I was trying to keep it away from my garden, I think I'd set out a bunch of rakes. It feels like the type of creature that would step on a rake and immediately get smacked in the face.
Oh my God, yes.
At
Such a sad sack.
first I thought you meant like So there's like a creature invented by the internet, much like Slender Man, I think called a rake.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And it's it's pretty spoopy. And I thought you meant just like set out those like its natural predator.
Oh,
like,
man. It might be.
Or
might
like,
be.
You very mistaken. You would introduce rakes into the ecosystem to destroy the dairy fairy, but instead they just run amok. It's terrible.
They don't even eat the dairy fairy,
no.
and they just breed. You can't get rid of them.
No, you don't introduce cryptids to get rid of cryptids. Just
You cannot be a little old lady who swallowed a fly. This kind of that's no way to manage an ecosystem. Now we turn to the fuckability of the world overall in this, dark and wonderful world of cryptids.
And
on
it
a
is
scale,
our world, too.
It is, absolutely. On a scale of 1 to 10 boners, the very world you live in where these cryptids are, hot and waiting for your phone calls. How fuckable is the world of cryptids?
I was really surprised by this. I'm going to give it a 4.
Ooh,
Surprisingly, not that hot to me. It kind of starts at Snallygaster for me.
Oh, shit.
Just to keep on fucking with the rankings, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah. It's got to be the right ones.
Wow.
In the sense that it could go 50-50. You could get that hot proboscis of the Mothman all up in your whatever. Or you could get the dairy fairy and have to like call a local rehab and just be like, get this thing out of my garage. It could go either way. So I'm going to give it a 5. Because, having so many potential big feet fucks, because they're everywhere, really, that kicks it up a little, higher than a 4 for me, but too many of them are just like small screaming blob. So, yeah, it's a 5.
Small screaming blob is a very popular kind of cryptid, as it turns out.
I gotta go 5 as well. I feel like there are really more no's than yeses as I review my list. But I think the yeses, yes so hard that like it comes over to be basically a 50-50 shot.
I think I'm giving it a 6 just because I don't start my until 13.
Wow.
I'm fairly positive on everything else. I mean, like, not wildly positive, but positive.
This has got to be one of the least bonerific universes. Right?
Yeah, I mean, look.
And in a surprising way, too.
Yeah.
If we had kept only the top hit.
Right.
We would have had
a lot of good ones.
We would have had a very different outcome for this.
We are scientists. We have to do a complete sample.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is the literature review. We went out there. We fucked broadly. And these are the findings that we have. And we have to just accept that, like, your average cryptid fuck is probably not going to be that great.
Wait. Who do you think that we cut would have made this list so much better? Encantado? The jackalope? Who are you thinking about?
No. I meant if we had
that Wendigo for sure.
Yeah.
Well, but like if we had pared the list down further to only like the...
Oh, I see. Because we had to put a lot of Dairy Fairy and Loveland Frogman on there. Is that what you're saying? Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah. If we had an even tighter list, I think it probably would have skewed the data.
It's a Spider's George of a list, really, because like your average cryptid is pretty low in fuckability. Mothman is incredibly fuckable. He is an outlier and should not have been counted.
Yeah. That's kind of what it comes down to, I think.
I'm counting each of them cheeks as one.
Yeah.
And with that, what did each of us learn here today? I mean, certainly that you can go touch Mothman's statue's ass in real life.
I learned cryptids surprisingly less fuckable than you think. And I blame American folklore. I think we need to step it up on the horny. Come on, guys. We need this.
I definitely have to agree with that. Our folklore is not horny enough, and it shows in this list, like in a really depressing way.
Oh, man.
I learned I would really like to visit West Virginia.
Yeah.
I think they have
Lovely place to visit.
I think they have a funicular.
Ooh.
Yeah, somewhere has a funicular, and there's a town that has like individualized little automated car transports. And Mothman.
And Mothman.
So I'd really like to visit West Virginia.
I want to go when it's not humid.
I think fall.
Yeah, that sounds
That
nice.
area in the fall is very lovely.
Ooh, sex with Mothman in the fall.
The
leaves.
colors!
Sex with Mothman in the fall as
cozy.
the leaves
So
are
cozy.
changing.
You could do, like,
Oh
he'd be
my
so
God.
good at, like, masking your scent or, like, showing you. You could do such bird watching. Oh.
Wow.
Because he's definitely not just a sandhill crane in the dark. I want to watch his bird.
God. I think I learned that I'm deeply trash. Like,
Now?
deeply,
Just
deep. Oh, wow. Thanks. No, but like the deepest kind of trash. Because I was like, am I really going to commit to this month? Yes. I still think about that book all the time. And I will never not think about it. And I can't change that. And I just have to live with that.
I respect that. I think you should respect your inner trash person.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Our inner chupacabra.
I have no
Yes.
choice because I can't get rid of them. They will not leave. They have squatters' rights at this point.
Yep. In a way, we are all dirty, sweaty cryptids doing weird things in the bathroom.
Every single
true.
person who's been on this program. Absolutely.
I'm very honored to be among you.
And with that brings us to plugs, where we get to speak directly to our listening audience and say, hey there, fellow cryptids. Would you like to listen to some of the things that we do? Kit, what would you like to say?
If you want to find me on any social, all my socials are the same. I don't give it out. You just have to go to West Virginia, drive in a car, preferably by yourself at night. Just wait. Just keep driving until you get to that point where you're not really thinking about anything in particular anymore. You're kind of zoning out. You're not falling asleep at the wheel. Don't be stupid. You're just zoning out, just vibing. And then you hear a terrible screech. Look in your rearview mirror. It's two giant, beautiful red eyes. And right as it collides with your car, you just ask it, what is Kit's social handle? And it'll screech it to you.
That's how I have to schedule Kit for this podcast every time. It's extremely inconvenient.
Find me on Blue Sky. Let's just destroy Twitter. Let's just make Blue Sky the new thing, please. Or Tumblr. Or Cryptids.
Yeah,
Might
bring
as well
Tumblr
be
back.
Tumblr.
Yeah.
No, don't bring Tumblr back. That'll ruin it.
Oh, it's true. It's true. It has to stay
That's
cryptidy.
true. No, stay away from Tumblr. All right. Sarah, you want to promote anything? Any good fix you want to promote?
Not really. I mean, if you want to find that one fic I wrote, David Attenborough is in my bedroom, feel free. Full disclosure, I have not written anything in years. Most of it's not very horny. But yeah, feel free.
They're great. Go read them. James, what about you?
Yeah, you can listen to me over on the One Shot podcast, at least for a little bit longer. I am also always on the Campaign Skyjacks podcast, and you can find my line of books and other role-playing products, the Ultimate RPG line put out by Adams Media. Those are sold wherever books are sold. The most recent one is the Ultimate RPG Campfire Card Deck, a tool designed to help you increase intimacy between your player characters and do it in a way that is easy and fun.
So fucking brilliant. James's books are so good. Get them. I'm not just saying that because he's a fellow cryptid. They're good.
Even if you're just a writer, they're just so good if you're just a writer. They're so fucking handy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I am MeganBob, the creator and horny genius behind Hard Choices. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for making Rose City Comic Con like the thing that it was. I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting us through this. We are going to do some other crazy things in the near future. But for now, we are in a period of going, we did it. We got through our first live show. Now we can rest. I have a stack of condoms with me. I will figure out how to get some of those out to some of you. Don't worry. I'm not going to keep this bounty all to myself. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you for supporting the show. And if you don't support the show now, hey, now is a great time because we have got stuff for you to go listen to. In fact, some of the latest, we have Weird Choices karaoke songs with Hub, where we talk about Superstar and have a lot of big feelings about it. And Weird Choices Sports with Miles, where we confront the fact that we're both very afraid of the ocean, but also extremely horny for people who aren't afraid of the ocean. So yeah, we have a bunch of things there. I'm going to get James to do a Weird Choices with me. That's in the offing. We just have to figure out what it's going to be. Could be polyhedral dice, could be something completely different. We don't know yet. But yeah, if you go over to the Hard Choices Patreon, you're going to get to find the fuck out. So yeah, come over, fuck around, and find out. And with that, we wish you a lovely, whenever the heck it is you end up listening to this, and cannot wait to hang out with you again whenever we talk about Street Fighter. So until then, stay hard.
And spoopy.
This has been Hard Choices.
If you want to show your support and get even more goofs from behind the scenes, visit patreon.com/hardchoices and become a patron. You'll get exclusive voting rights and participation in every weird new thing we do.
If you like the show, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review on the podcatcher of your choice. It shows people what's fun about the show and makes it easier for others to find it too. Hard Choices is produced by MeganBob. Our theme song is Funk Me by Soundroll. This piece and all music used in this production is licensed through Uppbeat. You can find details in our show notes and listen to more great tunes at uppbeat.io, spelled UPPBEAT.io. The Hard Choices logo is designed by Claire Mulkerin. If you'd like to get into touch with us, look for the Smash Fiction Fan Faction on Facebook and join the conversation. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. You're a peach!